Welcome to Skull Sessions. This is session number 3. I'm your host, Jimmy the Rabbit. This is Molov. And today we'll be talking about rewards. Specifically, rewards post the balance patch. To start with, we want to touch on the E17 Raid. Molov and his group have cleared it, what? How many times now? Twice?
Twice, yes. Hi, guys.
And it's kind of what sparked this session, because the rewards are less than thrilling, you might say.
Yeah, you can say that, I guess. That's a diplomatic way of presenting things, indeed.
Or what would you say the rewards are like?
So yeah, basically, well, I like. I'm gonna be a bit negative on these school sessions, but it doesn't mean I dislike the game and anything like that. I'm just gonna, underline some little issues here and there, and it's probably, I think, mainly because of Funcom didn't finish everything they wanted to finish. And speaking about New York E17 specifically, I don't think they actually kind of finished the rewards because first issue there are no achievements yet.
Yeah,
for that to begin with. So yeah, it's clearly it's unfinished, right? They will just put them at some point, right? Just an achievement or
yeah,
two
that's
like
probably
that.
accurate. I kind of, they should have known better, but I kind of doubt they were intending it to be beaten, like, upon release.
I mean, we on the beta, I think we made 4 kills, sorry, and 2 other sub 0.5% kills,
Yeah,
almost kills,
but they did tweak it up,
but
right,
by
compared to the beta.
13% only. By
Yeah.
13% only. It's
Well,
as I've said
so
it at some point, we had plus 25% more DPS with agents and the museum. So at 13% only, just gonna destroy it just fine. It was no
yeah,
real surprises
yeah.
there.
But I mean, I think that was their effort, right? Like they're like, we'll just chuck it up a few million, it'll be fine.
I mean that's also kind of what I had said at some point as feedback, because we were managing to consistently do it on the beta,
Yeah,
without agents and without museum, and it was consistent. We had several times we had dead people, up to two people, and we still were doing it. So want if you add the filth agents and the museum, this is gonna get wiped out real quick. It's not gonna be fun.
yeah,
They
yeah,
did it. I'm happy. I'm happy they listened to the feedback. They did it. That's great.
yeah. I mean, they didn't
Um,
buff it up at all. It would have been even less of a challenge, right? Like,
yeah. No, I'm very satisfied with the current implementation of the raid. There is just one thing. Well, I mean, it kind of goes off topic, but they fixed, when tanks at the end of phase 3, when final resort happens, tanks can die before the
oh
patch could
right,
die.
but they didn't fix it in phase 1, I think, right?
Yes, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's minor. That's fine. We play around it, no problem. But I think it's just they forgot this. But anyway, so back on the rewards topic.
yeah, yeah.
First of all, with this patch, they introduced the MK4 weapon fragments.
Right, right.
Uh, and all the raids drop them.
Yes.
In more or less in lesser or higher quantity.
I can
One of the
verify
issues I have
story
actually
mode.
about that is, yes,
It
they
does
drop on
indeed drop
story mode.
them.
Come on,
I
no,
I
please no,
verified
not on.
11 times that they that that is true.
I mean, I'm happy for you, man, but for real story mode, no, guys, that's too much. I don't like this.
I actually kind of agree. It does feel like it probably should have been relegated to just E1 five, like
Yes,
elite
E1
and up.
plus. Yeah,
Yeah,
clearly E1 plus. Yeah,
because
not story
anyone that
mode,
can
please.
do story can do E1. Like its only requirement
Yeah,
is that you're level 50.
yeah,
It does
pretty
kind
much.
of feel that probably shouldn't be there.
Clearly, like story mode is not supposed to drop end game type upgrades.
I will
Distillates
say,
are fine. Like distillates are, are universal story mode. That's okay. But MK4 fragments, no, that's a stretch. Clearly.
yeah, no, you're right. It is odd. I will say though, on the plus side, it does mean that like you, you can run store because the elite cooldown's still the same for E1, 5, 10, and 17. It does mean you can get a separate set of small fragments by running story mode as well. Right? I mean that is kind of nice. It's like one more little chunk a week that you can get, like even if you don't have alts. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
like after this patch, like I have to play my alts now in story mode, even if I don't care about them. I don't play them. I know I have to
yeah,
because like this thing just released. MK4 fragments are too valuable to skip on the alts, and this feels like work. I know I don't have to, but I don't like story mode dropping fragments. And like our whole group, the STFU group, we all agree on this pretty
yeah.
much.
No, I actually do agree with you there. It does. It seems kind of odd. It's like I guess my comparison would be story mode dungeons don't drop agents,
Exactly, exactly.
right? So
Yeah,
it does seem odd that they would drop sort of an end game anything.
clearly.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Um, yeah.
So the Mark IV fragments drop in E17. Now all the raids drop them, but if I recall, one of the complaints was from E10 to E17, it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, so I've got numbers actually about this one. In E10, if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure I'm not, you drop between 16 and 20, I think, between 16 and 20 fragments in E10. I'm like 90% sure
Maybe,
about this. Yeah.
maybe even a couple more.
Okay. Well,
I think it might even go
and
above
in
20. I'm not sure.
E17 though, I have real numbers.
Okay.
You drop between 24 and 28. So with the numbers I have said before about E10, that's 8 more fragments on average for E17.
Yeah.
For for a significantly bigger effort to in order to like to complete E17.
Yeah, that does seem a
Uh,
little.
so that's already a problem. It's already a big problem. Like
I mean,
my
essentially,
initial
you can make up the difference with a story mode raid almost. You can get like
pretty much,
seven
yeah.
fragments from a story mode raid. You just run E10 in a story
Yeah,
mode,
well, the
and
thing is that yeah, for now
you've
they're not
got the same
like
amount of
exclusive.
fragments.
Yeah, they're not exclusive. Like you can also do 17 and story mode. But yeah, well, the main point is
Sure,
that,
sure.
like as I said on beta already, they should have at least double the number of fragments in 17. Like 50 fragments, for example, more or less, would be a decent number. Because like if you think about it, 50 fragments once a week, that's still 6 weeks to get yourself an MK4 weapon. That's already, a lot of time. And the thing is that E17 people, they have more than one main hand weapon. They will have more than one offhand. They
Oh
have more
yeah,
than
yeah.
one of every. Like they have multiple weapons. So like for people who want to do E17 raids, they'll likely be using many more than one weapon, and they likely want way more fragments.
So the
So
only
yeah.
so what about distillates in comparison to the other
Oh
raids?
yeah. Oh, that's the other point. That's also a joke. I'm sorry. Uh, literally, like E10 distillates, for reminder, they are 14 to 16k.
Okay.
E17 distillate, I know it's 20k. I don't know if it's 20 to 22k or 18 to 20. I think it's 20 to 22k. Must be something like that. Come on, like can't be serious.
Yeah, that's a very
Can't be
small
serious.
incremental for such a large jump.
Especially after this patch, which introduced so many more new distillates and catalysts everywhere that you can grind your stuff like crazy and such. Like, come on, 20k
Yeah.
distillates in E17 raid, just no. Like, I don't know, make them at least 50k. That would be at least meaningful. And 50k is only still 2 legendary levels on an item. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
I
nothing
mean, even if
shocking.
it was 30, it'd be almost double. Like, I don't know. Like, it's, but I
30,
30 or
30k,
yeah,
40k. I mean, would be double from 20k.
40, yeah,
Oh, you mean
40K.
compared to
Yeah,
E10? Yeah,
yeah,
I
Crit
guess.
E10.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
you know,
even
but
30K would
20k is
be,
not enough.
yeah, no, I get what you mean. It's so incremental. And it shouldn't be incremental. It's a jump.
Yeah,
It's,
especially since E10 is like middle ground now. It's not the ultimate end game. You can overgear it
yeah.
with people. You can like people grind it weekly just to get some
I mean,
gear
it
and
was a
some
little
fragments now.
more,
That's great, but like E17 now, you're not
it was a
overgearing
little more
that.
difficult out the gate. Because they
Sure,
bumped its HP up as well. And a lot of people were not ready for that.
that's due to agents as well, as I had said. But yeah,
Well,
because basically the E10, if you remember, the E10 scaling was
oh
done
yeah, that
pre-agent
was,
system.
sure,
It was done
sure.
pre-agent system, and things changed meanwhile, and yeah, it got tweaked, and
Well, that and just the way the tank's healers worked, right? So it wasn't just the scaling, but like trying to run it with a double healer or trying to figure out how to run it with just a single healer. Like there was some strat things that had to change. Like, and we're so used to just having it on farm that,
oh, what's going on?
yeah, sorry, that was me.
Little
Um,
phone issues.
we're so used to having that on farm, and I think so many groups were that like when something changes a little bit, like everyone goes, oh, what,
Yeah,
what?
people just need some little time to adapt and to remake their builds, to remake their gameplays. It's
Yeah,
all good.
I
Just
think
need
on
to
the
take some time.
on patch day we weren't able to spend a lot of time. It was maybe like an hour and a half. We didn't get it. We came back on Thursday and we cleared it twice because
That's
we
actually
had
a good
more than
thing.
10 people.
It's a good thing that you didn't immediately kill it on the first day,
Yeah,
because
we
that
wouldn't
was
learned
a learning
anything.
process for you
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Like other groups, they struggle the same. It's a learning process, so
Well,
it's great. I think
I would say
it's great.
some of the difference is some of the other groups struggled and then didn't bother to learn. They just went and started complaining about it not
Well,
working.
yeah, I mean that's a different issue, but yeah, I mean the main idea is that yeah,
Actually, I mean, I guess it's not the topic of this particular session, but it is in
yeah.
general like a problem I saw with the patch is this just inherent resistance to learn anything new. It was like, oh, this is what I know about Secret World, and so I'm gonna do this. And then when that's not true, it's somehow the game's fault or something. I was like,
Mm.
you can read, right? Like, go read. Why would you run around with your abilities and like smack them and then not notice that like, you're doing something different? Maybe you should go read what it does now because it changed. But that was
Yep.
like the first week. That was a really big problem. Um, but back to the rewards issue. So the fragments not nearly enough different. Distillates not nearly enough different, and I concur on both of those. It just seems it would seem like you went from E10 raid to E11 raid and not E10 raid to E17 raid,
Pretty
right? Like
much.
that's kind of what it feels like.
Also,
Um,
before we jump into the other layer of the reward in E17 raid, I'm gonna just, if you don't mind, make a
sure.
quick mention about MK4 fragments. Uh, so I don't have data. I don't know what exactly MK4 fragments will be doing to weapons, but I'll go from an assumption. I assume the laziest and the fastest way to implement these fragments, what they will do to a weapon is that they will linearly increase its affix power. Uh, what an affix does? The affix on the weapon does not increase the IP nor the weapon's power.
Correct.
So that's already not quite where the MK4 talisman fragments were for 4-pip talismans. Those improve your power. This already doesn't touch the weapon, just the affix. It kind of improves your power, but I'm getting on this right now. If we assume, again, it's an assumption, we don't have anyone yet with an MK4 weapon. For example, if you take energy affix, MK3 gets you a 33% chance on a power ability, right? To get refunded 1 energy. If we go with the same logic, it would be 44% and MK4. I'm gonna tell you immediately. I'm not making MK4 weapons. I'm not grinding for this. You know how much DPS you'd gain out of an MK4 like this? Not even 300 at max gear.
And see,
That's I'm
another
not taking
issue
this.
of the
I'm like right now. I'm just reselling fragments because I'm basing myself on the assumption that the scaling is linear from MK3 to MK4, and if it is, if I'm proven right, I'm selling all of them.
Even okay, like, look, even if it's not linear, even if it's like way bigger, the odds of it being big enough to make a substantial difference are fairly low. Right? That just doesn't really make sense.
I mean, energy could be like, if you want to get like something significant, you'd bump your 33% to something ridiculous like 88% or whatever. That would start to matter a little bit, you know?
Right. But what are the odds that they're gonna do that?
Yeah, probably not.
Really
And that's why I was assuming that the scanning would be
Yeah.
linear, because this is the fastest and the laziest implementation that you can get.
I should have given Step my fragments. He would know by now already.
I guess. And same for Havoc.
He's got 200 and I've got 100. We could have made this happen.
Yeah. But yeah, Havoc you'd go from 7.5% more crit power to 10%. It's the same deal. You gain like 300 DPS. Destruction, you'd probably gain like 400 DPS. I'm not grinding for this. Like, and do you know how many weapons I'm using? Like, I'll need so much. Like, I play. I don't know how many builds I play, man. But I play holy shit ton of builds, and I'll need tons of MK4 imbuers to upgrade everything. But it's just not even worth it. So yeah, if my assumptions are right, I hope I'm wrong on this one. I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I guess
if the assumptions are right, no, just no.
Like, in theory, like we don't really know, right? In theory, they could have made it so it ups the weapon power for some weird reason, even though that's not how any of the other marks work.
Yeah, I know. I hope they did something like this, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess soon enough.
I wouldn't hold my breath. Or anything.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, because it seems out of line with what they've done already.
Yep.
And also I don't think they really want to increase the power creep that much. Like I don't think they want them to be more. You know what I mean? I could be wrong there, but I don't really think they want to rebalance everything again.
I mean, the thing is that what kind of rewards could you put in E17 Raid that doesn't increase power creep that still remains interesting? I don't know.
Well, wait, isn't there? Okay, I know this doesn't matter to you, but I think there are some cosmetic things in that raid.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, there are some cosmetics. Yeah.
From what I heard, there's like an old outfit that never got released or something.
Maybe I have no idea. Honestly, like with the way the 17 raid works, I mean, let's say an assumption again, but the people who will be trying it mostly will be like, I'm not gonna say people who will be doing E17 raids don't care about cosmetics, but it's that kind of content where it's mostly made for
wouldn't be the driving
players,
force, like,
you know? Yeah. That, let's
even
say
if they
like
this, cosmetics, it's not.
This is better said indeed. Thanks. And yeah, the thing is, oh shit, I forgot.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Because I think it's, I forget what the outfit's called now, but you know the armor. There was a set you got from Flappy. I think Elite back in TSW. It's like the white and blue. I forget what the name of the armor is called now. It has like a helmet, and then like the sort of honeycombed. I'm going to go look this up. It's gonna drive me crazy.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm not a really big
it's all right. I'm gonna check real quick, but I heard a rumor, and I don't even know if this is true, but I heard a rumor that that one of the things it can drop is like an unreleased uh, outfit that I think was like even previewed on an old dev stream at one point. Um, the heck is it called? It's something I know it's something that Arrow has like put a picture of before because she like somehow has it in her back pocket always. This outfit that was on the stream once, give it to me. Like I think it drops pieces of that. And if anyone
Mm.
remembers TSW, like I think it was Flappy Elite, I believe, that could randomly drop like an outfit piece. But the whole raid had a roll on it back then.
I remember. I think I've got the full
And it's like,
of that.
you'd get the boots, and then you'd get like the pants. And I just forget what the
Yeah, I
heck
think I
they're
remember.
called.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I forgot what it's called as well, but I remember.
so I heard that is supposed to be in the E17 raid. Unfortunately, I kind of agree. Most of the people that would give their left arm for that outfit are probably not the people running the E17 raid. And they're
Yep.
probably not going to be there for a while. Like you would think, eventually over time, like the E10 raid, right? Like it was it was only X number of groups in the beginning, like really small. They were really consistently running E10 raid. And over like a couple of years, like other more casual cabals have started like having E10 raids and like getting people through them, and it just happens over time, right? Um, Either I think both due to experience and power creep, like both those things help.
Yes, overgearing. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess if they're sellable, maybe. But if they're bind on pickup, like that's pretty horrible. I would say actually,
I think
uh,
they're bound on pickup. I mean, I heavily doubt they'll be sellable.
yeah. Well, if you recall the current outfits that dropped from the New York Raid, like E10, some are binding pickup and some are sellable.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, like so, like
I didn't know that.
the military outfit you get from the raid. Like you can get like the filthy army gloves, filthy army
The
jacket.
military thingy, filthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So those drop in two ways: a purple one that's bind on pickup, and a yellow one that is sellable, tradable.
Oh,
So
okay.
theoretically, if what I heard is correct, and that those other outfit pieces drop from that raid, and you got one and it's sellable, you might be able to print money at that point. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess. Wow.
Like, in which case, that would be a drive, even though you don't like necessarily
Sure.
cosmetics. That would make it worth it for, say, an end game progression group to do it for no other reason than just to generate in game currency, right?
The other idea is that if Funcom don't really want more power creep, would be to look at some horizontal progression instead. But that's more complicated topic. It's kind of
Right.
hard to like. They need, for example, to I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't even have any ideas, but like, yeah, you can like think it's possible to implement something. I mean, at that point, some additional power creep. I don't think it's gonna hurt that much, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe like new like well, they said basically at Funcom that they had no time to implement new talismans. As the minimum, back in E10 when we did first E10, we had unique E10 talismans, right? Headpieces, Elder Things, Marco the Starspawn. I forgot the third one's name. Those were only dropping E10. You remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
The headpieces. I hope would like provided they have some time, they'll put out some new like at least three, like one for each role for a slot. I don't know, like bracer slot for example. Just
Right.
saying it.
Right.
And yeah, just like make new talismans with like new gameplay options that offer new effects or whatever. I don't know. At least something like this would be nice.
Sure.
Obviously to have. And the other thing I liked, but that was mainly in TSW, was that if we consider raids in TSW, the gear that dropped there was bound on pickup, so people actually had to work and to get raids done to get the items. I kind of like that. You had like a sense of how could I say it? Exclusivity, I'd say. If you were
Yeah.
like worked hard enough to manage to finish the raid, you like I know people who were trying absolutely to get like the Pharaoh and stuff like this, like
Sure.
in TSW in the raids. I'm not suggesting like creating power crypt items. That's like Pharaoh. No, in this game, no, it's gonna break the game. But like
I would say there
bound
was
on pickup
also.
items, why not? Like I like the idea. I don't think SWL's like itemization system will accept bound on pickup. I don't think they want to reintroduce bound on pickup stuff. But
I mean, they have
I
it.
would enjoy.
They do have it. For example, the new cosmetics that drop from the patron chests are bind on pickup. Like you just get
Yeah, but
the
I mean, it's not the same. Like
or
I'm talking mainly about
um
items
oh
that you can drop in
purples.
raids.
Anything that drops purple is bind on pickup.
Purples? What do you mean?
Purple glyphs, purple weapons. Have you seen any of those?
Oh yeah,
Those are
that's
all
actually a
character bound.
shame. That's actually a shame. I don't like this.
It's funny though because you're saying you want it for something else, but it does happen. Like
No,
it does
but like,
exist.
look, the purple weapons and the purple glyphs, they don't offer anything besides fodder material, and I think
Right.
it's a shame that they can't be sold. As simple as that, you know.
No, I mean
Uh,
I'm kind of with you, but it's just funny that you want
yeah,
it here and it exists here.
it depends on what, of course.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
Oh,
depends
by the way,
on
I,
what
I went in the
kind
game
of.
just so I could soothe my brain. Carapace of the Immaculate Machine.
Yes, GG, you found it.
So there's like the white and blue. There's like the yellow black. Uh, I think in the dressing room right now, actually, the white and blue has the wrong preview. It has the black and red preview in the dressing room. That's how you know there's other colors, because it actually has the wrong preview item. Um, so what I remember reading it somewhere, and I don't know if this is actually true or just someone data mining, and maybe it's not true, but I heard that the E17 raid can drop pieces of the Carapace of the Immaculate Machine, like the other color.
Okay.
Um, but it's not a guaranteed drop. So again, it's kind of shitty if it's tradable, because if it's not tradable, it's only an incentive for certain types of players, not all players. It would have to be tradable or sellable to be an incentive to the entire player base, right? And especially I think to progression groups because they're probably less cosmetic oriented as a drive.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a fair assumption to make. Not many risks taken there, for sure.
uh, so they would have to be tradable, sellable for it to be worth it. But even then, if it's like you can run E17 every week for a month and never get even a piece of the outfit, like that's not helpful. No one's gonna want to do that. There needs to be a different reason to make you keep going back. And I agree. I think the current rewards aren't enough
And
as far as that goes.
just a little bit again about bound on pickup exclusive items like talismans or whatever. I mean, it's nice that people can so far get stuff like talismans and weapons in raids and sell them. We could make a lot of MOF. That's cool. It's great. But as I said, like having exclusive drops that are bound that you get in 17 raids, that don't necessarily push power creep much, but at least you'd be able to like show off something when there are people that would be inspecting you and they'll see, oh, this guy completed the 17 raid. It gives a whole different feeling and meaning to the challenge. Despite like besides just being able to print money, you know what I mean? That's how I see it, and that's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, achievements, as I said, I would like to have them, but I think that's only a matter of time until Funcom brings them. Um, maybe they can give us a title or something like a sprint or a mount as well. That could be cool, I guess. I mean, these are us cosmetics again, I guess, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but anything that's achievement related just feels better, even if it's something as simple as like
Mm.
a title or something. You know.
Yeah. So to summarize a bit, so one, not enough MK4 fragments. Two, MK4 fragments might be bad depending on what the imbuer does. Three, distillates are too small. And four, no exclusive new stuff besides cosmetics, but like no new talismans, no new weapons. So yeah, there are, as we can see, multiple layers of real issues with the E17 rewards. Hopefully those will get fixed and or alleviated or worked on. Wait and see, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna make this happen right now. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can grab this. Uh, I gave Step my fragments. We're gonna see, he's gonna show hopefully in the preview window what the differences are.
Oh, you mean you're gonna give him fragments?
It's already done.
Oh
So
shit!
he can make a Mark IV imbuer and put it in the window for different weapons and see what it does before actually using it, right?
Oh, I mean, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna use it on one of them, but the whole point was he could show me like what it does on different ones.
Sure. Okay.
So let me see
Will
if I
be
can
fixed.
grab this on the thing here. Let's see. I mean, we can keep talking while he sets this up, but I think it will be interesting to see because I don't think anyone's seen one
Yeah,
yet.
I'm very curious. I want to see that for sure.
Uh,
All right.
okay, so just well, we want to move on just to the generic distillates catalyst
Sure.
and we'll go from there. Come back to this.
Yep. All good. You want to start? Or...
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So the the rebalance patch introduced us some new distillates and catalysts. Um, there is a catalyst that forces a crit on a bunch of distillates. If you put it with 4 distillates, up to 4 distillates, you'll crit them. And now we have also energized distillates. Those are special new distillates that drop, have a chance to drop anywhere. And these offer like basically extra percentage of XP when they crit. So this is kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed this new system. It allows to grind like gear really faster than before. The main concern, however, is inventory space. Basically, people are inclined to stockpile some of the energized distillates until they get an energized catalyst to crit them.
Just so you know, this is happening on the screen behind you. You can connect in our Discord if you want to watch this yourself, Molov.
Sure.
I just realized you can't see what's going on. Also, I don't think Steph knows his chat is showing either.
Hi, Step. Sup?
He's looking
Okay.
at the.
Let me just put this full screen, like to see that. Ah, wait. What's okay? Oh, here. The disappointment is real, man. 10% crit power. Come on.
Hey, you
For
were
real.
right though. There's got to be some
But I don't like to be right on this
some
one, man.
solace in being
Like,
right.
come on.
So just for this episode, I sacrificed 100 weapon fragments, just so everybody knows, to make this happen. I
I mean,
gave them
I
away.
mean, yeah, you don't have to use the imbuer though. You can keep it for like
I
other.
don't. It's not a big deal. I
Yeah,
wanted
sure.
to see it and talk about real
Oh,
information.
sorry, I didn't see. Is the weapon power increasing? I don't think so, right?
I don't
Only the
think so.
affix. Can you?
He's gonna look at it again.
5K. Yeah. Okay. So only
I
base.
think
Yeah.
all
Okay.
of them.
Well,
Isn't when it's max, it's 5K, right?
yep.
So that one's
Yep.
4381, and then when he mounts over the 4381, yeah.
Nah, not good.
What's destruction going
Not
up
good.
by? Did you see how much the destruction was going up by there?
I mean, I guess it's just linear. It's
Yeah,
no
probably.
magic. It's just. But no. That's disappointing.
He's just playing around, throwing all his weapons in there. I'm actually curious if what he's actually going to use it on. If anything, I guess technically it's sellable. All right, we'll go ahead and switch off of that.
Thanks,
World
Step.
another world first. All right, switch back to the screen. Um. So okay, so on this session
I'm gonna
we've
disconnect.
covered the world first raid and now a world first Mark IV viewer. Unfortunately, it's pretty much what we thought it was. So, I mean, it's nice to know, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a
Truth
good.
hurts. Truth hurts, man. Truth hurts. Oh, by the way, before we jump, I mean, I guess we already jumped into catalysts, but just a quick note about the whole affix system. Since SW's beta, I really dislike the affix system on weapons a lot. I very much preferred the way it was in TSW, where we had a signet slot in weapons, and you could just customize them with the signet. And yeah, the issue is that basically some cache weapons are like non-existent at all. They're super rare. The main example is like the rare weapons from the Oni cache. Good luck finding
Right.
the one you want with the affix you want. Just good luck. And this like because of the affixes, some weapons are completely inexistent, and I really don't enjoy this system. I would have like rather had a signet slot system as we had in TSW, or at the very least, I asked it at some point, but they had no plans to make it like affix converters. Like you can buy with Orem or something,
Right.
and that you could convert to the affix you want. Like
Yeah.
even
Well.
having this, I'd pay some Orem. Uh, it seemed decent to me, and I don't know, they didn't want to make them happen yet or ever. I think that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, but yeah, that's
I
my
agree.
opinion on the affix system. I really don't like it, and yeah, some weapons are worthless because nobody wants a weapon with the given affix that is not desirable for what they want to do with it, and I don't like this. Not a fan, especially since the weapons how they work in SWL from caches and stuff. They can be
Yeah.
pretty rare. Yeah, here you go. Um,
Hmm. So just FYI, it didn't show up on the screen, but because he didn't cycle through an energy weapon, but it goes from 33% to 44% on an energy weapon.
that's what I said. Yep. What's funny is that the imbuer is a red quality. I can tell you, man, there is nothing red about this. There is nothing red about them.
What? It
Yeah.
could be embarrassment. It's
Oh
just
damn.
red in the cheeks from being embarrassed.
Oh damn. You, you,
Is
you
that
got
too
me with this
harsh?
one.
Is that too
I see what
harsh?
you did there. You got me. All right.
So
Back to the other
yeah.
topic.
So sorry, because we kind of got in the middle of you were talking about the distillates,
Yeah.
catalysts, and the inventory space kind of issue, which I still think is funny because I have more inventory space free now than I have in a long time.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm an
the
anomaly
crit,
for sure.
the crit catalysts and the new distillates. I kind of like them. I don't think like they weren't the work that you put them in terms of like sacrificing some inventory space for some oomph. I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
The two other types of catalysts, though, I very much dislike. So let's talk about the purifying one, the short that removes the short costs. Well, everyone in our group, as soon as we load them, boom, delete. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I guess it's more of like a lower level thing. And
Maybe,
honestly, like a
but
free to play lower. Like I will say, it is possible when you're coming up through the game, and even after like level 50, I suppose. When you're leveling stuff, I've seen people be like in dungeon. I remember at least people being in dungeons and like shard poor and like have no inventory space left and can't afford to use the distillates they have because they ran out of shards. Like I remember that being a problem, but it
I
does
think it
feel
kind of
like
splits up the people who need them and people who don't. They're not universal, and I very much dislike this.
yeah.
Pretty
Well,
much, if
it
that
would
makes
almost
sense.
be. I guess a way to talk about it would be like it would almost be like, well, what if green distillates randomly dropped in like E10 dungeons? That doesn't make
Pretty
any
much.
sense.
Yes.
um.
Pretty much. So yeah, I mean, I think we don't really need to say any much more about this. We can
Yeah.
jump
We
into
can.
the last type of catalyst, which is the synergizing one that basically gives from plus 30% XP, total XP, to plus 50% depending on the quality, purple, yellow,
Right.
and red. That's cool. I like them. That's fine. But what I really dislike is the subtypes.
Right.
These
Because
catalysts,
it's not
these
like
catalysts are
weapon
worse.
talisman. Yeah.
Yeah, these catalysts are worse in terms of like of what people desire. Like people really want the energized ones, those that crit, and those aren't subtyped. Those are great and they're rewarding because they go with distillates. These synergizing ones, in general, on average, they're worse than the crit ones
Sure.
because like you can increase the I mean, well, they're not really worse, but like they don't.
It's well, I don't know if they're worse, but it's more annoying because you need the right one. But I will say
Yes.
I don't know though. I don't know. How, yes, they potentially take up more inventory space, but I think it also maybe from a different vantage point encourages economy.
Yeah,
I I
that's one of
have
the arguments I've seen, indeed.
I have a pistol
But
one, you have a pistol, but I need a sword one, you have a sword one. We can just like um outside of even the auction house, just encouraging like community interaction, right? Like you can also just sell them on the auction house and buy the ones you need. But at least in
yeah, I've been doing
groups
that.
I've seen, in cabals I've seen, where it's very much like it's almost like a trading card game. You're like, here, you give me this one and I'll give you this one. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It might be less of a good thing given how restrictive the base inventory size is.
Yeah, and the thing is that like I'm not sure SWL's item system like we went all the way from release of this game to like right now, and everything is personal loot. I'm not
Right.
saying people aren't trading stuff and all, you know, but I feel like catalysts and distillates uh, should should rather remain, you know, universal and usable by almost everyone. I would really prefer still to have them, without subtypes, just more generic. You could still sell them, you don't need the like more signets, for example, because like you're done with signets, you could still resell them. I think that's cool. But yeah, I'm really not a fan of these subtypes. There are too many, and they're clogging inventory. They are clogging the auction house because most of them are even like sub 1K moth right now, and they'll keep going down.
Like I said, I don't even know. I don't even think they're necessarily something I would put on the auction house, except for really cheap. But I do think they sort of encourage like a churn, like an interaction churn, which might not be the most favorable from like your end as a player. But I'm curious if they're looking at it for a different effect from the um, business side, like the game side. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then and if even if that's the case, it still would have to balance out. I'm sure that I am 100% sure that they're watching this stuff over the next weeks and months, right, to see what happens.
Yeah, sure.
That from a marketing standpoint, everything they just did, even the patron chest, right? Like that's a massive the keys going away for everything, and then
That's
instantly the
great.
patron chest.
That's great.
That's a massive change. I'm sure they're going to be eyeballing all that data pretty hard, especially for a free to play game uh, you know what I mean. Like just from a monetization point, those guys up in that rung of the company are going to be looking at those numbers pretty hard.
Just little detail that I like to include in this particular topic. If we're talking about enhancing community feeling and enhancing trades, there is one huge issue for me
Mm-hmm.
that still remains that, in my opinion, really should be get rid of, is that you have to be patron to access your cable bank.
Yeah.
I don't think this fits any community feelings at all. It punishes free-to-play players for nothing. This just the rest is good for the patron, but this one thing,
I kind
man.
of understand it, a sort of, but here's what I would say it probably should be is I feel like you should be able to access a bank you're part of, but maybe like you can't make one.
Fine, sure,
Right?
but you should
But if
be
you're a
able to
member of
access
a
your
cabal,
communities. Yeah, you should be
yeah, you
have
should be
access
able
to your
to access it.
communities,
Yeah. No, I
like
agree.
storage and stuff, because you're part of it without feeling bad, because like you can't, because you don't pay like free to play players. They're part of the game and it should be. And this is those like one of those things where I'm really mad about, like actually really mad actually, like I really dislike this.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I've said it.
I think to a certain extent, probably at least, especially originally, it's got to be to like combat, like alt spamming and things of that nature, right?
Make
Like,
it restricted to like level 25 or 50, I don't know. You
no,
have
it's
simple
not, it's not
ideas.
going to restrict anybody from alts, uh,
No,
but
but I mean
what I mean
in
is,
terms of access,
yeah, what I mean is like, okay, so you as a free to play player, you have a small inventory. You have to pay for inventory, right? If you could just make a cabal, like a lot of patrons just make cabals to have more free space, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they're okay with that because you're paying. Does that make sense? And in a sense, your patron is covering that extra bank space that you could potentially have.
Mhm.
Whereas they don't want a free to play player to have that same option. They want you to go ahead and buy inventory. But I do I so again I feel like the solution would be free to play players can't make a cabal, but they can if they are part of a cabal, they should be able to move stuff around.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
definitely.
my take on it at least.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And yeah, I think we're done with the catalysts and
no,
distillates.
Step is
Oh no,
saying that
yeah,
the
sorry.
Mark IV weapon has broke both the Poodex and the in-game manager.
Of course, because the
Well-
blue builds checks by names and by.
No, but I think unless I'm missing something, it doesn't save it at all.
Wait, really?
I'm verifying right now.
Well, that's a detail. Probably not that important. We'll get that fixed if it's an issue.
Yeah, we'll report it if that is an actual thing. It'd be kind of funny. They're like, oh, we did it's a different ID.
Well, in the past, I mean, when the agent system released, if you remember, Blue Builds was, well, of course, not managing agents. But, we can get that fixed
yeah.
if there are issues.
Apparently, it's like in the in-game manager, it saves and it shows up, but it doesn't swap to it.
Oh, rip.
So there's something wrong there.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Maybe. Potentially. I don't know. He's still messing around with it. But anyways, okay, so what would be next? A cult offense seems pretty awful. I think it's a general consensus.
So I had also some ideas and some issues to pinpoint there. Indeed, Nerval said multiple times that his main idea, their main goal of Funcom is to increase. How can I say it? Is to incentivize people to not stop after one wave, but to make play multiple waves in a row. Right? They said that's clear. That was a statement. But man, every single time, every single implementation of OD, they failed to incentivize. They failed to adjust the reward system to make that happen. Every single time. Why am I saying that? Basically, right now, when you do one wave, you get 2 distillates, glyph distillates.
Right.
When you do an additional wave that takes the same time that the previous one, the first, you get only 1 extra. Why? Only 1 extra. Where's the incentive there?
Right, because you just quit, go back in, and get 2.
Yeah. You continue regrinding one like wave 33, whatever your max is. That's it. Why?
Was the next wave harder? Was the next distillate bigger at all?
I think they scale up to wave 39. I think they stopped at like 8k maybe, 8k XP, per distillate.
Okay.
Which should be like around wave 39, which I think is also a problem. I think they should go higher than 8k, in my opinion, because some people might want to like just have fun above wave 40 and stuff. Why not? And why would you you see what I mean? Why would you stop scaling distillates at wave 39? That was also an issue back then with wave 21 with 4k distillates, and they didn't scale higher. And that was already a problem because grinding OD, there was no incentive going above wave 21, but just having some fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Consecutive waves giving only 1 extra, that's an issue. And the other thing, when we compare OD to Seek and Preserve, okay? Seek and Preserve is roughly 12 minutes. So let's say it's roughly equivalent to 3 OD waves, okay? In terms of time,
right.
more or less.
Sure.
In OD, you can get Seek and Preserve. If you save all the 10 survivors, you are guaranteed a blue chest. That's great.
Right.
I like this. What they should do in OD, what they should do every 3 consecutive waves, boom, blue chest.
Yeah. Do you ever get a blue chest in OD?
No, never.
Currently?
They don't exist in no blue chests.
Kind of weird.
Every 3 waves, boom, blue chest. That's an extra incentive. Here we go, right? And really review the distillates that drop like 1 extra distillate per wave. that's not gonna happen. Like nobody will bother.
I wonder if it's different because you're rewarding something different. Like, I mean, I know it's the same amount of time, but like, you could do 3 waves in OD and have the stone could be nearly dead, whereas you do this SNP and you have to have all 10 people alive, right? So I wonder if that's a potential wrinkle.
Maybe, but like I'm pretty confident. Like they can remake it. They can like they know how to count consecutive waves, right? So they know how to count 3 waves, and they can just pull a blue chest. I think
Well,
that's
right, but what I'm saying is, SNP only gives you the blue chest if you have a perfect
yeah,
run.
yeah.
Whereas in OD, 3 waves doesn't mean you did a perfect run. It just means the stone survived, right?
Mm.
That's
But they
that's
wanted to incentivize multi-wave, plays. I mean,
yeah.
they can maybe implement a system where, like, if in 3 waves you lost like less than 10% HP, less than 20%, I don't know, give blue. There are many ideas, that
Yeah, I
you
see what
can
you're saying.
implement.
I was just kind of thinking like,
Yeah.
well, what's the
Hmm.
effort difference? And the
Yeah.
effort difference is you can totally shit the bed in the last wave as long as you manage to
True.
like get it, which is
True.
way different than the amount of time you have to be on the ball in S&P. So, um,
Yeah. True. True.
you would want
Fair.
they you would want to account for that. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say this came up at some point. I think they're actually intending SNP almost to be more beneficial right now, if for an odd reason. Here's what I think, at least. One, I think the pendulum swung too far the other way. Like everyone did SNP, and then everyone did OD, and no one plays SNP. I know they have numbers on that. Like no one plays SNP, right? Plus,
Yeah.
OD is really the only way that you can uh, scale somebody,
Yes.
right? Like you can pick them
True.
up with their bootstraps. Also, with the distillate shifters, you can really do it now, right? Because
True.
they could do like talisman or weapon distillate shifters, and now instead of just getting glyphs out of there, they could actually level their gear. You can really boost someone. So I
Good idea,
think,
actually.
huh?
Might boost someone like this. We've got a friend who got back to the game.
Yeah.
I
So
might just do that with him.
I think it's
Good
twofold.
one.
I think one, they wanted the pendulum to swing back a little bit towards S&P and make that like a attractive, viable option. And two, I don't know how much they want that to happen with OD, right? Like I'm just kind of brainstorming
Yeah,
it like
but
right
sure.
now, but I
I see
think
what you mean.
I do want to say that I want to say Nerville said somewhere that they actually did intend SNP to kind of come back up. They felt like it all swung OD's way too much. So I
And
think
I'm
like,
perfectly fine with that. The thing is that I still think there are ways to make
but I do
rewards more or less
agree it
equal.
still feels underwhelming.
Yeah,
And I think didn't
pretty
they
much.
remove something as well? It's not just that
Signet
this
distillate.
yeah,
They
they
remove
removed
signet
signets
distillates.
from it. So it's not just that it's like less, it's that it's also less than it was before the patch.
Actually, you know what? Uh, I think they should get rid of glyph distillates completely from OD and replace them by signet distillates.
You just make it like a signet farm. That way
Yes.
you would have solo content that gives you signets.
Hmm?
Yeah, I could see that. It's kind of weird they just removed the couple signets it dropped, but yeah, I could totally see that as like an alternative to the whole. You have to do layers and regionals to get signets. I know that's been a big complaint from solo players.
Mm, yeah, and the thing is that now regionals, like if you want to farm signets, now the rate at which you can chain regionals and grind signets is pretty close to what you can get from top level dungeons and stuff for the talisman weapons and glyphs. That's no longer okay at this point because I think regionals should like well, I mean regionals is kind of E8 10 content, so they
Yeah,
can't really give higher DCS from them. But the thing is that this is like a raid content. This requires getting layers, getting essences, organizing stuff, and then like getting people to grind regionals. This is like a group effort, And before the patch, it was providing like XP for scenes in a higher rate per time spent than the distance for the rest of the gear. That was fine to me, based on what I said, based on the amount of effort it provided. Right now, it kind of equalized, which is I don't know, like I believe OD should be like the extra source of Signet XP that you could grind, in my opinion, to compensate for this little loss.
That'd be an interesting idea.
Because
It also
like
would just give it a different reason to do it. I guess the only downside potentially would be because it can be both a solo and a group activity, right? Is that potentially it skews people out of layers, and it did feel like from other conversations that they want to encourage you to do all the content, right? Like, so if you can do even as a group OD and never touch layers again, that's not what they want, right? They want the content to have a function, if that makes sense. Because otherwise, why did they put it in there? Okay. Faction missions. Faction missions seem amazing right now. Like.
Yeah, well, I just included them in the list, but I have actually nothing to say. But I think they're the best benchmark out there. They're pretty much perfect.
Yeah, it's like
Not
stuff should be
too
like
low,
this.
not too high. They're exactly on spot.
It's like if you want to
Just
look
perfect.
At where rewards should be, look at faction missions. Those things are.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's solo content. It's chill mission runs. No big challenges. You just do them. You're on your own. You're cool. Take your time, and you get still very good rewards. Not too good, not too bad. Just perfect. Like them. And also, I really appreciate even more is the fact that they switched the faction mission rewards, distilled rewards, from glyph focused to talisman weapon focused. That's great.
Yeah,
that's
I
great
noticed
for
that.
more solo more solo players, and that's great. Just great. I like it.
Okay, so what do you think? Dungeons? Or you want to touch on Tank Commander first?
Sure, Tank Commander. Well, this one's gonna be quite short. Maybe not. I think it's bugged right now. You still get 2 distillates from the bag, the reward bag. 2 distillates, they're 4K.
I didn't even get a reward bag when I did it. Maybe I did, but I just got the item. I think, right?
No, you get 2 distillates as well from the bag.
I have to go back and look at my stream. I don't remember getting anything but the item.
No, I swear you get 2 distillates.
You do need now? Now you do?
Yeah, now and before and now. And they're the same. They're 4K distillates.
Yeah, that's kind of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only the amount, I think, didn't get reviewed. The amount should scale based on your IP and stuff.
Right.
Not only that, I think in terms of the difficulty, like if you compare this to a faction mission, right? Faction mission is chill and you do it solo, you're fine. There is no difficulty.
Oh yeah, Tank Commander is really difficult. Yeah.
Tank Commander, man. Woo! Not only it's hard for the majority of the player base, it's quite rare. It's hard to get the box.
Yes. Okay, so again, it's not like you can run it every day, or even if you're a free-to-play player every 3 days like faction missions. You can only run it when you get the box, assuming you've 100% completed the game in order to open the box. So the one time you do run it, like that month or something, when you get the drop, it's like, and I know like we were railing for those museum items forever, right? Because we couldn't finish the museum for like years.
Yeah, but now they're obsolete.
But yeah, now they're just flooded the market. They're not being incented to run, and I run it because it's fun. Like I like doing the content.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as like a loot incentive to run it, there's none. There's no
not only they should scale on your IP, the distilled quality. It should be a shower of distills. Like bam, you get so many.
Yeah, it should be. You just killed the Tank Commander. Here's like 3 of everything in Mythic.
Yeah, let's go. Exactly. The idea it should be like right now when we get extra. Like I have a box right now. My character. I just don't do it.
I do wonder if they upped the thing though, because I got one the other day and I actually like I did it on stream, like post patch. I did it on stream, right? And
I
then
did one as well post patch because
I
like
got another box, and then today I got another one, and it wouldn't actually let me get it because I already had one. So I've gotten 3 peculiar boxes in like a week.
Hmm.
I wonder if they upped the drop rate. Either I'm
It's
insanely lucky, and so were a bunch of other people. Because I think PJ's gotten like 4 or something. Like I'm curious if they
keep
actually
in
upped the
mind
drop
that
rate.
keep in mind that we're regrinding a lot. Like I think on average we're spending more time grinding stuff
Sure,
right now and playing the
true.
game than before. And
But even so, I remember like some people were like grinding all kinds of stuff and not seeing a box for 6 months or something. It just feels like there's a lot of them flying around right now.
I mean,
It could just be
yeah, maybe it's just
observational
anecdotal
bias or
evidence.
whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it is also possible that they just went, you know what, we're gonna up the rate a little bit. Who
Mm.
knows?
But yeah, Tank Commander
So
should be updated.
no,
Yeah.
I agree. It should be updated. Its loot should be updated for sure. It feels, and also I don't like now like I don't know how to say this. It was the hardest content in the game. I don't
At
think it
some
is
point,
anymore necessarily.
it's still pretty challenging.
No, it's still
For a
challenging,
solo
but like
for a
put
solo
it this
run,
way. Well, you're right. It is hardest solo
it's harder
content.
than
Yes,
Dark
but
Agatha.
I would have
It's harder.
said it was harder than the raid prior to this.
It's you.
I
I don't think
know
you
I
can
know
really
you're comparing
compare.
apples and oranges a little bit,
Yeah,
but
it's
still,
yeah.
considering how
But you're right. You're right though. Like I agree. I agree. It's
you could
just
just
kind of
farm the
awkward.
E10 raid like every week, no problem, but you got your box and you're like, shit, I have to actually try, right? Like
Yeah.
the fact that there's an E17 raid now, but the E17 Tank Commander raid, like Tank Commander fight, it's still difficult, but it's not. I don't think it's any longer like the hardest thing. It was literally, I think, legitimately harder than the raid for a lot of people.
Because it scaled to your IP while the itinerary didn't.
Right. True. True. But yeah, regardless, it should give you more for your effort because it. I mean, I guess it's only technically like 2 bosses, but still, it seems like a really really low amount of reward for
I
the
think
effort.
they just forgot about it or they didn't have time, to
Yeah,
remake it,
it's
rework
fair.
it. I hope they'll get done, and I really want to get back to that whoa I got a box excitement feeling.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
right now I don't even use it. Like I get a message, it's a unique item, blah blah. I'm like, I don't even read this anymore. I don't care. It's gonna be cool to get back to this feeling of wow. I'm so happy. I'll get like a shower of distance from that. Pretty
Okay,
simple.
so I think the last thing we have on the list is dungeons.
Couple more actually. I think.
Do you have more than dungeons?
Real quick on Seek and Preserve before dungeons, if you don't mind.
Oh, I thought we talked about Secret Reserve. And with
OD.
OD, I could be wrong.
Mainly OD. I
Okay.
had 1 or 2 more things to say about
Sure,
Seek and
sure.
Preserve. Loot feels great. Like in terms of loot,
Yeah.
just as faction missions, it's even maybe a bit too generous, but like I like it this way. It's great. What I maybe don't really like is that compared to OD, S&P is kind of boring. Like they upped the HP of mobs. You
Yeah.
don't like destroy them like crazy. That's great. But I think the damage of mobs is a bit on the low side. At this like some bosses, like I think some bosses is melee. They hit me. Like I lose a couple millimeters of life per auto attack. I think that's maybe a
Yeah.
bit a
It's
bit
it's
undertuned.
probably so I remember at least on the beta at some point they went the other way by accident, like really far. I think at
Could
some
be.
point you jumped in there and it was like jumping into a wood chipper. Like
But
they
yeah, what I mean is that
so they might have just
this
gone the other way a little bit too much,
yeah, yeah. This quality of rewards warrant at least a bit more damage from monsters.
Yeah.
Just that. Just that.
Okay. Okay. I mean,
I
that's
think it's
fair.
all I had to say.
They also just today upped the damage of dungeons, so they're
Yep,
they're
yep, yep.
definitely adjusting things as it happens.
That's
I wouldn't.
great. I like seeing that. That's great.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
keep
like
keep
some
going.
immediate feedback. Like not just immediate feedback, but immediate like turnaround as far as like
That's the SWL development team and Funcom team that we all like. You know,
yeah,
they stay active. They fix things. They keep
like what is
going. You
that?
know,
Like
that's what we like. That's what we want.
literally a week after the launch, they're like, "Oh, here, dungeons are harder now." Sorry.
Yeah, keep going, guys. That's awesome. We want
No,
support for
it's really nice
SWL,
to see.
and yeah,
Really
that's
nice to
that's great.
see.
Raids are done. Two topics left: layers regionals and dungeons.
Wait, we didn't talk. I swear to God, we talked about layers regionals.
A little
We talked
bit.
about them a
A little.
bunch. Okay,
I
what
mean,
else you got? What else you got?
yeah. Layers regionals. Layers regionals. I had something to say about them as well, but I think I
Because
forgot.
we were talking about, you need the group, the speed at which you could do them. They're kind of intended
Yeah.
for lower
Well,
stuff.
the issue with layers regionals at this point is
They
that
spawn
it's an
patron
obsolete
chests like
content.
goddamn cookies or
It's
something.
yeah, it doesn't have like a harder version, like 17 version or something. Which I
Oh,
mean, that's obvious why. Like it's open world content. I like open world content. We should have more of that. I really enjoyed the old TSW, nightmare areas and stuff. I really like that.
yeah.
So I don't know if there is like that's a hard topic to discuss, right?
Yeah, as far as
Scalable.
like coming up with an idea of like what to do there, because
Yeah,
how
it's
would
not easy.
you
It's not
how
easy.
would you change that
Mm.
like without making it harder for everyone else?
Um,
You know?
Speaking about distillates, regionals drop like 3.3k on something on average now. This is kind of short of filling one green from zero to max. It's kind of the shame. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
And that reminded me about a whole issue that I'm not happy about right now. Distillates are so big now in the highest content that they overflow too much for green and blue items. And you know, when you have
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about
to
that. It
throw a
feels like it
7k,
feels
you have to
bad to
throw a
waste it.
7k distilled into a 4k remaining item. I wish we had a system. I know it's technically maybe challenging to make at this point, but a system where like you take a 7k distilled, you put in a 4k remaining XP item, and the remaining 3k is not wasted, but the distillate is like becomes a 3k distillate.
Yeah. I think that's okay. Here's my take on that. I think it's something that like all players would like. I'm not sure it's something the game designers like or want. And
I know,
I
but
don't mean from a technical point of view.
yeah, I know
I
what
mean
you mean.
like they want you to waste it because then you go grind more distillate. Like I don't know that it meets this. Like game designers and players don't always have the same goals.
I
You're
know.
in the
The
same
the
game.
problem is yeah, the problem is that right now distillates and game distillates are just too big. So like you're bound to waste XP no
Yeah,
matter what. But like before that, 4K XP is what you need for a green, and 4K XP distillates were the maximum. So you could
right,
juggle with some like right now you can't. You're just bound to waste them. And there like it makes no sense to go in lower content because it takes you as long to run lower content to
right.
get the same distillates, but they're just lower. So like if you run like E17 scenarios or something, you're gonna get 6-7k distillates. You'll just waste XP. So it's an unfortunate result of this new of this new.
Yeah, I think I see. I don't do that too much though, because I like at least for me, I would do something like run like story mode New York or something and get blue distillates and level my greens that way.
Hmm.
At least for greens, the blues. I mean, that's a different story. But you're also
Blues are kind
wasting.
of the same problem. Like
But you're
blues, I think
wasting
they
less
require
on a blue. I
12k.
think you're wasting
Sorry.
less on a blue. I think, right?
No,
Generally
you
speaking.
actually waste more
Oh,
because
because you have to. I think about
basically the
that.
blue
I know what you
glyphs,
mean.
if I'm not wrong, the blue glyphs require like 9.5k XP. So you put a 7k distillates on them, and then you have 2.5k something left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But again, there's places in the game you can still get lower blue distillates. I guess.
Sure,
But
but
I mean, I know what you mean. I just don't know how.
yeah, it's just the thing is that it became a way bigger issue after this patch. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Well, it's like, well, you know what they say: more distillates, more problems.
Yep. And also, well, I mean that's like something that's not gonna change that thing. But I don't like the fodder system. I wish we could just go from a green to a blue and from a blue to a purple directly by paying like a MOF price, maybe bigger than now, but not having to grind fodders. That's a dream, man.
Well,
That's a dream.
when no, I think that's an integral part of the system. Honestly, look,
I know, I know.
I
Uh,
know it's work,
yeah, I
but
said
I
it's
think
a
it's
dream. You know, a man
yeah.
can dream, right?
No, no, you can't. We're gonna go ahead and stomp on those,
No, what do
tear
you
them
mean?
out.
I'm allowed to dream. Yes, I am.
No,
But
I
yeah,
honestly
that's
think the whole is an integral part of not just the upgrade system, but the inventory system. The whole, like, I think you're talking about a foundational feature, not just feature, but foundational function of the system in the sense that like it expects you to take new, like even as a like an
I know.
E17
You're right.
player,
I
right?
know. I'm not
Everything
arguing.
has value. Green talismans from a
I'm
dungeon
not.
have value.
Yeah. Well,
So
at least to alleviate the problem, I would really like that they make purple fodders that drop, you know, purple glyphs and purple talismans and weapons
tradable.
that drop now. Yes, please,
Yeah.
please.
No, I
I'd really
agree.
enjoy.
I agree. See, I never once I think wanted to use one of those. I
Um,
honestly
I
can't even
use glyphs.
remember.
I use
Look,
glyphs, but like, yeah. Sorry, go on.
I would get like a tank glyph purple. I didn't even like you know
Yeah,
what I
I know
mean.
what
Like
you mean.
I can't
Yeah.
remember a single purple drop that I got that I was like, oh, I can use this actually as fodder. I always ended up shoving it into something else for like very minimal XP
The other
boost.
day, I dropped a purple elemental focus. Too bad. It's 1 week too late. I'm done with all my LA weapons.
Well, exactly. And then it's like, what do you do with it? Like the best thing you can do
It's
with it
so frustrating. It's so
is you shove
like
it in another weapon,
they
and you
want to
get
encourage
like,
people. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They want to encourage people trading with the new catalysts and stuff, but they discourage other like you know what I mean.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. Exactly what you mean. Well, to be fair though, that's something that's been like that from the beginning. It might just be something they didn't think about,
I hope
right?
they rethink it and they change it. I really
Yeah,
hope.
I agree. Okay, are we ready for dungeons?
Yeah, last one. So dungeons, I had 2 issues with them.
Shoot.
First one was gonna be quick. That's what she said.
You're stealing my
uh,
material.
the,
Damn
the
it.
rare the rare mobs in dungeons and their loot. We
Yeah.
have 3 difficulties now. Please, up to E8, like make them like the gadgets quality is fine right now up to E8. From E8 to E14, that we will have the old nightmare mechanics stepping right. They
Right.
should at least at the minimum drop mythic. I think that's already maybe the case. I don't know. I'm not sure. No more purples though. Your
Right.
E8 plus, no more purple gadgets. E14 plus, we really should not be having any more mythics at that point. Like really, only reds. Only reds should happen. Make them maybe spawn more rare even than now. I don't know, but getting mythic gadgets at that point, like in E17 dungeons, that's
Yeah, I know what
frustrating.
you mean. It's a throwaway.
Like
I get
I
it.
really don't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my issue with gadgets in dungeons. Um,
I mean that's fair. I don't know how they intended them or any of that. Um, but it does feel like for how rare they are, and if you're like in an, I would say at least if you're in an E17, right? Like I don't. It does feel odd that you're like, oh, I'm gonna get yellow stuff, and like no, like you can maybe sell it, but no one is using those or needs those.
yep.
Um,
Fun fact, little fun fact. Since the release of SWL, I've never got even one Red Valley. Still waiting for one. I'm not kidding. I never got one.
that's
Still
funny.
waiting for one. Yeah.
Did you buy one or just?
Oh yeah, but mine. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bought
yeah,
mine back for 1 million. Back in back when it was
yeah.
very pricey. I bought mine, of course, but I never got one.
Yeah.
I just want to get one time just to
One,
say
just to say you got one.
thanks.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thanks, please. I got one. I've never. And yeah, like dropping yellows is part of the issue to me.
No, I can see that for sure. Just a quick note from Step. Apparently, the in-game manager does work. He just had something
Oh, okay.
wonky. So the Mark IV weapon do work, assuming you update everything in your builds correctly. But any of the mods apparently don't like it. Like any of like the
Builds don't like it.
Boo builds
Doesn't.
does not like it. It doesn't. I mean, it's
Oh shit.
always not liked it when you change something. You have to re-update the build, but apparently it just
Yeah.
doesn't like Mark IV at all.
Okay. All right.
Um, it could just be how it's coded. If it's coded for like 1, 2, 3, and then you put in a a one
Could
V,
be.
it's probably like, what the hell is this?
Could be. Could be. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
that would be my guess.
The other issue I have with Dungeons so far, well, we've talked about this during the beta. You remember? I still stand behind like my statements regarding some of the rewards you get in E17 in particular. Uh, I think for the amount of work it requires to complete E17 dungeons, for the amount of challenge, distillates should be higher. For
Yeah.
one, a little bit. Not, I mean, a little bit. I don't know.
I
Like,
mean, they're decent now, right? It's not like E10 dungeons before that
yeah,
were
they're
like
not bad, but
crap.
they should be
But I see, I
compared
know
to
what you mean.
previous tier. Compared to
Yeah.
previous tier, it should be like previous tier gives E16 distillates for E14 difficulty. So E17 dungeons should give at least E19 distillates, if not E20, because E14 is overgearable. E17 is not overgearable, right?
Right.
So what I've observed for this whole week is that even like many, like quite a bunch of people from our group are actually just running E14 to E16 content because it's way easier. It was way easier, at least before this adjustment to the boss HP. It went faster, and I think it just was the best ratio for the XP. And I don't think this is what Funcom was intending to like
Yeah.
to happen. Like your highest difficulty right now offers one extra distillate in the end chest. That's good, but that's maybe not also maybe not enough. I don't know. Not sure about that.
Or maybe it should just be a bigger distillate. Like even one's
Yeah,
okay, but if it's like
but
twice
like
as much or something.
if we just take random numbers, like I think distillates in 17 dungeons are like around 7.2 to 7.6k. I don't remember the exact numbers. I'm sorry. But if I had to like suggest a value, I'd go for like 9k boom. You know,
Yeah, I can see that.
something like that. Something like that. Or even
I would say from my
10k maybe.
from my thing on it, like I love that they added achievements,
Yep.
and some of those
They're
achievements are
actually
really
challenging.
hard.
Yeah.
But I feel like they need it, and I'm sure it's just time, right? Like a time resources thing. But um, I feel like just a title
Yeah,
for
yeah,
some of those is a
that's
little lacking.
disappointing. Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
especially when I mean
100% agree.
I know the outfits came over from TSW, so they didn't have to put any work in really for those. But when like what was it, fives, tens, like give you outfits, and then E17 has these really difficult, really cool achievements. Here's a title. It just kind of like, oh man, like I still want to do
Yeah,
them. Don't get me wrong.
in addition to the title, I don't know, give out some MK4 fragments, you
Like
know?
even that, I wouldn't be happy
You
with.
know?
I would want some visual, you know. Now I
Oh, a
did
sprint
notice.
maybe? I mean,
Yeah, like a sprint. They did
sure.
they are giving away 2 pets, but it's for completing all of them.
Yeah.
So if you just complete all the 17 dungeons, you get a Shem of Gold pet. If you complete all the achievements for all the 17 dungeons, which is a whole separate thing, you get a pet of the Golden Golem and a title, easy peasy. Like that's a little bit more of a reward, right? I don't really care so much
Yeah,
about the pet. Like it's not my thing. I'm like I would summon it, but it's something you can show off and be like, ha, I did this, right? That's what
mhm.
I'm saying that the other ones need. When I clear Penthouse with no one dying, the Cleaning Crew title is one of the best titles, by the way, of all the titles they gave out.
True,
Cleaning Crew is great.
true. The others I don't like them. True.
But if you're gonna give the title Cleaning Crew for that, it should also give something else like visual. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just a quick note about Penthouse. I think the rewards are off for Penthouse, in my opinion. Um, Basically, the dungeon has 3 bosses. It's way shorter than other dungeons, for sure. But the end dungeon is basically a standard end dungeon chest. I feel it should have a little bit more oomph because
I
I
thought they
can
did
tell you
add stuff to it.
already. I can tell you already. Penthouse with a dungeon finder. It's a new HR, man. It's a new HR. I can tell
Yeah,
you. I can tell you.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it doesn't need that much more, but just a little bit more, like 1 or 2 extra distillates, in the chest, or a little bigger distillates
I thought
would
they
be
did
nice,
make it
would
bigger
be
than
nice.
normal though.
I don't.
Already,
I think it's just a regular end dungeon chest. I might be wrong. We
I
did
remember. I
Penthouse
remember at
once.
least we did it in the beta, and I remember that someone said something that it was more. Um,
Maybe I'm wrong then. I don't know. I didn't. Maybe did I pay attention to the numbers? Well, I'll double check. I'll double check. But yeah. Anyway, I think it should be like fairly rewarding, like a bit more than maybe now.
yeah, I think that's fair. Um, okay, we're almost at the hour and a half mark. Do
Yeah.
you want to wrap up anything real quick?
Mm. Yes, I'm very happy with the patch. We've been waiting for it. Almost had depression over not having the patch. Now it's here. Very happy. The E17 Raid, we love it. Like mechanically, gameplay, we love it. We love dungeons, new mechanics. We love them. Like minus like obviously some bugs that are left to be fixed.
Sure.
We love scenarios. We love faction missions. We don't love OD. I'm sorry. We
Yeah.
like it's great. It's great. Like we got to hang out more often with my team. We do content. We do stuff. We do more layers. We do more. What we started to do since they introduced new signets for tanks. Basically, every 3 days we organize a layer session for all Transylvania plus Skyline layers to gear up our main tanks for the raid and to gear then other tanks for the because
Yeah.
we're gonna swap roles for E17 raid soon. We're gonna start swapping roles. Some other people are gonna tank. So we unite and then we get together and we farm some
No,
layers and we
I've
hang
seen
out and
more people
that's
just in the
great. I
game
like it,
in
dude.
general. Yeah. Layers
It's
popping
great.
all
It's
the
great.
time. Mega bosses popping all the time. Part of that's for the patron keys because you need a layer chest to everyone to spend their patron key on a layer chest, right? So
That's
like
also
that's
although
also incentivizing
you
people.
can get your layer chest in mega bosses now though.
Yeah. Yeah.
One more thing. Well, I think that's maybe like Nirvel already knows about it, but when you do layers and you drop patron chests, they're all around.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, fun
Come on,
fact. Fun fact.
what is that?
We did like 30 Kaiden Pig regionals, like what, yesterday, the day before, and you can stand on top of the patron chest because they hang around a long time, like way longer than
Yeah,
normal chests. You can stand on top of those, and then the pig will charge, and it charges right through you, and it doesn't do anything.
nice.
So I
Yeah,
would just
but yeah,
stand on
the
them and
thing is
shoot
that
them.
the thing that it should do one spot,
Yes,
right?
I
One
agree.
spot
There's no
where
reason.
one patron chest spawns, and when it despawns, on next time you kill something there, it respawns on that spot. And that's it. Like,
Yeah.
what's the deal with? That's insane. I think they just half thought about that or something. That they should change it. That's insane. That's not good right now.
No, I agree. I agree. All right. I think that's
Yeah.
probably a great.
Otherwise, great patch. Really like most of the stuff is fun to play with. We got more variety for offhand builds for DPS now, but that's for another day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they fixed Blaze, they fixed Inverter. It brought up an insane variety of offhand builds. That's great. Tanks are like cooler to play now. I like that. Healing is great to play. Like everything is, it's awesome.
So
Awesome.
we'll
Good job.
definitely have more sessions coming because there's plenty to go in detail about. But I think that'll probably do it for this one, and then at some point in the future we'll probably dig into, especially once the patch has been out a little longer, right? More stuff has been tweaked. We'll come back and dig into some more other facets of the patch because the patch has affected pretty much everything. So there's definitely like tons left to go over. But I think that'll do it for this session. Thanks for those that made it through the hour and a half. And hopefully we'll see you guys next time.
And yeah, see you as well. Bye, guys.
Bye.